This is the story of Simon's and the relationship he had with depression.
My name is Simon Chow, and my Chinese name, they call me Yaman, but Simon is fine. I always want to write. 2018, I start to sort of thinking about that, but so far I seem to have sort of a mental block. In depressions, trying to get counseling, more understandings of PTSD, about the narcissistic personal disorder.
All the core of narcissistic abuse is psychological abuse, which is the most difficult to understand and heal. The emotional and verbal abuse is fairly easy to recognize, but the slow and gradual psychological abuse and manipulation tactics used on a victim destroyed their confidence in themselves. Their perceptions and belief have been tempered with and undermined. Learning how to trust their own eyes, ears, and intuition is a slow and difficult process. Narrative therapists help their clients put together their narrative. This process allows the individual to find their voice and explore events in their lives and the meanings to place on these experiences. As their story is put together, the person becomes an observer to the story and looks at it with their therapist, working to identify the dominant and problematic story.
Gaslightings. It's a common trick that the narcissistic personal disorder will use. They twist the facts, and at the end that you end up believing in their narrative. The word gaslighting is from the very famous film. The wife was put in situations by the husbands. Everything what she perceived end up sort of twisted by the husband. One of the reasons that I'm interested in filmmaking is because I always want to write, become maybe a screenwriter. But now I got more reasons because I have this sort of story to tell. I'm hoping the story can help other people suffering from PTSD or depression. It becomes sort of a process of healing and also a process of the chance of doing filmmaking. I find myself sort of in depressions. From other people's experience, some say all this counseling may work, or some say may not work, and some even say they can get it worse. I can easily commit suicide. I could be able to control myself to that extent, trying to get counseling and get help from other people. I learned a lot about psychologies and the PTSD and so on. It's a process that made me think a lot about the meaning of life. It's made me think why I want to write. Most of the time, the first sort of interviews with the nurse, the sort of preliminary interview before I see the clinical psychologist. Most of the time they ask the question is, or maybe the first question they ask is whether you have the suicidal inclinations. And my answer is yes, definitely, more than 50%. I have these dreams at one stage, which I never would have this kind of dream. I dreamed that I was at this cliff and I was pulled down by someone from the cliff. It's just unimaginable that I find myself in these sort of bad dreams. I am not an expert. The most one that the clinical psychologists use, as I understand it, is they call it the CBT, which means cognitive behavioral therapy. In order to heal, I think art is a kind of therapy, and also filmmaking is a kind of therapy. And in fact, now I come to have a chance to do documentary filmmaking. The problem is not a problem itself. Most of the times is how you see the problems. That is the healing process. It's a process that you find the meaning of life. It's a long process. For my case, it's almost taken me 3 years. Some people never healed at the end. There's a problem in life, and the way to solve the problem is to solve the problem. A lot of many other issues. Now I come to the understanding, using the PTSD as example. You feel depressed because you think you are in a scams, and it's so unfortunate that you are falling into these bad people. When you are trying to sort of sort them out, saying a revenge, or sort of sue them or whatever. The problem is how you perceive the problem. Part of the problem is your own feelings. When you are dealing with your own feelings, your trauma, it's the way that you deal with the problem, to see the problem more than you are going to sort of get rid of the problem. The problem itself is to deal with it. Most of the time, the problems in life is not the problem itself. Most of the times, is how you perceive the problem itself, so as how you're going to deal with the problem in your life. With my experience, it's just like a phoenix reborn from ash. Unthinkable happens to you, and you are totally unprepared. You will take that good opportunities to learn and experience. And that is the purpose of life. You never will have a comfortable life or in your whole life. And some trauma is going to help you to experience life in full and a better way.